This is Politics Today live on Channels Television. I'm Sean Kimbaloye in Abuja, the nation's capital. The breaking news you're watching right now there on your screen. Well, we will bring you details of that. That will form the part or major part of our conversation tonight. But let's take a look at the countdown to the election right here for the 2019 general elections. It is 70 days to the crucial 2019 general elections. And so we're keeping you right in the mood to get you up to date on what is happening and the latest. So let's tell you about some of the stories making the rounds. The Federal Executive Council has ratified the 2018 budget estimate ready for onward transmission to the National Assembly. The Cabinet gave a nod to the estimate during its special session presided over by President Muhammadu Buhari on Friday, earlier today, that is. At the end of the meeting, the Minister for Budget and Planning, Udo Udoma, however, did not give any details of the budget. He said the ministry will get in touch with the National Assembly in order to fix a date for the President to present the budget to the National Assembly. Well, let's also tell you that the presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party, Pt.1, Atiku Abubakar, continues his consultations with the coalition of United Political Parties, CUPP, promising that he promised the group that it will run a unity government if elected into office next year. The coalition, which was formed in July this year, adopted Atiku Abubakar on Wednesday as the sole candidate ahead of next year's presidential election. The meeting is to strategize on the coalition's campaign blueprints and manifesto, as well as to discuss who gets what should the candidate win the 2019 general election.
We should not go back and just rest and say, no, we have endorsed, so that is the end of it. No. We have to deliberately take certain actions to make sure that we achieve our objectives. So there is a lot of work to be done by all of us here.
And let's now go to our major story of the day. Everyone, get it. This is very crucial because it pertains to the 2019 election. Whether or not the action of President Muhammadu Buhari today will affect the 2019 election, we'll break it all down for you. Well, let's tell you. President Muhammadu Buhari has again declined assent to the Electoral Act amended bill. This will be the fourth time it will the bill will be joining from the National Assembly and the President's desk. The President explained the reasons for his decision in letters sent to the leadership of both chambers of the National Assembly, and a copy of the letter dated December 6, 2018 was obtained by Channels Television on Friday. According to President Buhari, signing the bill into law at a time when the nation is close to the general elections may give way for confusion and disruption of the polls. He, however, asked the National Assembly to specify in the bill that the amendments to the act would come into effect and be applicable to elections commencing after the 2019 polls. The President insisted that declining assent to the bill was in the best interest of the country and our democracy.
His Excellency President Muhammadu Buhari has taken a decision on the Electoral Amendment Bill 2018 in accordance with his powers under the 1999 Constitution, and has communicated that decision to the Senate and House of Representatives. By convention, that decision contained in the communication can only be revealed by the person to whom that decision is addressed.
Let's get down to the business of today, everyone, and discussing this matter. If you do not know, the Electoral Act 2010 as amended after the first one was repealed is the one that guides the election in Nigeria. If there's anything wrong with the election, you have to go back to that law. Well, it's the second most powerful law in our election after the Constitution. So whatever the President has done today, how will it affect the election or the effect and implications for our election? Tonight, let's get the conversation started. I have a member of a former member of a former lawmaker and a member of the APC, Honorable Cletus Obuni, joins us here, and a lawyer and activist, Mr. Frank Tietie, also joins us on the program. Thank you. Let's have, within the little time we have, to have some robust conversation. Let's begin from the political angle to it. Since you're a member of the APC, and looking at the public interest in this bill, and what a lot of people will perceive the action of the president or the indecision over the bill to be, the opposition has challenged the president that he should sign it if he does have the interest of free and fair election. Does it mean that it does not?
Well, one of the things about our democracy is its robust intellectual engagement, and sometimes it descends into the abyss of the mundane. Clearly, the president's refusal, or rather inability to sign this bill, should have sent the right signals to the parliament. All this squares back to the parliament. Don't forget that there are parliamentary provisions that make for what we call vetoing, or what we call the overriding of presidential assent after 30 days. It's in our constitution. And the president has insisted that we cannot be doing bits and pieces of a legislation on account of interests that are only exigent for the moment. No legislation on earth ever survives in any nation that aspires for free and fair elections to proceed with segmental or temporal interests of those. You remember that in 2011 and 2003 as well, the order of election was ordered in a manner that those who are to run parliamentary elections in the states were made to go on their own. We started first with the National Assembly members themselves before the presidency, then it got down to the governors, and before we got to the state houses of assembly on the 3rd of May, 2003. That was what, 2003. That was what happened to us in 2003. People forget these kind of things, and it was tinkered with until we got to where we are today, where it was seen that if a president has to go with his own colleagues or friends or his people in the National Assembly, he will need to run election the same day in order to give it. Again, this has been in a...
But that's not the only aspect of the law. I mean, the big question will be that the president's people were said to have sat down with members of the National Assembly and some other stakeholders to draft the last one, the fourth draft that went to the president. So a lot of them had said there is no reason why the president should reject it.
Excuse me. Let me tell you this. In Parliament, as I tell you of all laws, I have been in Parliament, so I should know. You make laws, you put them into the final draft, and what goes out for signature is altered. Most of the time, it takes an eagle eye to discover this. If this has happened the fourth time, and one of the things you must remember on the particular issue of this bill is that there are other ancillary issues that are salient. I would like the National Assembly to react to this before I come back. I anticipate the following things. One, when the president says it is not in the best interest of the country, that it will generate confusion, I propose that he is wanting to refer to the ECOWAS protocol, which requires 6 months that any bill that has to be changed or any constitutional provision that has to be changed, 6 months to an election must have the accent of...
It's not a law.
It is not a law. That's what I'm
saying.
It's not a law. So
it's a protocol. I mean, it's a protocol.
It's a protocol to which Nigeria is a signatory.
So yes. You don't have to...
Nigeria is a signatory to that. And you don't
just a moment, Honorable
yes.
Cletus. Let's allow Mr. Pt.1 to come into this. What do you perceive this action is, or this, well, we'll call it indecision because it perhaps had not signed it, so.
Well, I think the handwriting on the wall is very clear. The president has been misadvised. The president has, by this declination, shown that he does not indeed want what we call free, fair, and credible election, the kind of elections that ushered him into power. Now,
what gives you that?
Because by the honourable here failed to actually, he was making reference to the order of elections, whereas he should have dealt with it that the matter it has to do with the use of card readers. Card readers have been in existence in our elections, and they have to a large extent eliminated virtually possibly all possibilities of rigging. And INEC has, to a large extent, perfected its use. And we have seen court decisions that have made it necessary, very exigent, that the Electoral Act be amended to give legitimate effect to the use of card readers. for the president.
So are you saying the president is afraid of the card
Oh,
readers?
certainly, certainly. I am not a politician, but you must also appreciate that the right to democracy, that the practice of democracy is of utmost importance in Nigeria. And that what the president is doing by sending this impression to the rest of the world that he wants an atmosphere where elections can be manipulated, where there is uncertainty with regards to our elections.
Just a moment. When you throw your bullet, also consider that every time that the president has sent back the bill, there's always a drafting error. And in this one, he also said that it is also important for the following drafting amendments to be made to the bill. Why would the parliament send bills that have drafting errors?
The honorable member just made reference to bills that are tinkered with. We cannot engage in conjectures here with regards to the typographical errors. I mean, I'm a draftsman.
But when you're drafting laws, you cannot pass laws with drafting errors.
Excuse me.
And the executive does not have power to
typographical errors,
to touch it.
They can be corrected. But the point here is
the executive cannot do that.
No.
By law, cannot do that.
Let me tell you this. Let us go to the politics of the issue. And I insist, because we know, and this is unspoken, it's a matter that is of the public knowledge, that the issue with regards to the amendment of the Electoral Act has to do with the card reader.